How's it going today, folks? Paul the Barbarian out here, just hanging out in the shop. And I know it's been a little bit since I put something out, holidays and everything else like that, and somehow my nose has such a magnetic feel towards that grindstone that I just keep working, working, working. What I'm going to talk about today, I've got a list of places to find gear, and I've got a couple little workouts that you can get started on, little things to do every day to kind of build yourself up to get into the sport. I've had a lot of people asking me how to get gear, what kind of training tips, everything else like that. I'm going to start putting out a little bit of stuff a little bit more regularly. Clemson's coming up next weekend, all prepared for that, just fixing up some armor, getting some things taken care of. But let's just go ahead and get started. A lot of new people coming into this. Went to Rookie Rumble a couple weeks back, coached up a couple of new guys. That was a really fun event. A lot of good hunger coming into the sport, a lot of aggression, a lot of athleticism. The tier of fighter is going up and up and up. We started out a couple of years back. It was just kind of big guys running around, running into each other. Now it's like real tactics. It's the best shit ever. So we're talking about different kinds of things and what we're required, like what's good workouts to start into the sport. The biggest thing has to be cardio, wind sprints. It's all wind sprints. It's all doing really quick, fast stuff. That's one of the biggest things that people run into because you're breathing inside a helmet. You don't have a lot of breathing, like a lot of air holes going on through there, so you're constricted. Breathing at high athletic levels, anaerobic activities kind of situation. Plus, you're trying to fight people while in armor, fighting your own body, fighting your own mentality. It's a real hell of a humdinger there. So, cardio, good footwork, good balance work, being able to stay on your feet. That's the main process of this whole thing, is staying on your feet, staying up, and keeping fighting. You're no good to anybody on the ground, so you got to be able to work your balance, do little ladder drills and everything else like that, like they do in football. Hot feet, quick feet, doing a bunch of different little things you don't even need to go to the gym with. You just kind of tread water, hot feet kind of thing like that. Keep yourself good and balanced, keep moving, keeps you on a good base. Big thing is also wrestling drills. You don't need, you find another guy in your local area, you guys are trying to work on some stuff, work wrestling drills. Wrestling drills are great. It makes you use every muscle in your body. It's one of the hardest sports out there, and we're doing it in armor. So that's a couple of the main things that I'll do a couple videos showing like what a real workout would be. The Knights Hall up in New Hampshire has a good thing called Night Fit. It's a great program. I've used it. I love it. They're putting out workbooks. I think they've got them for sale, $12 a pop or something like that. Jay's doing some good work up there. Next thing, holding on to your weapon. A lot of people drop weapons. Hand strength, it's a big thing. Wrist strength is a big thing because you're hacking away, swinging a weapon, and sometimes you just lose it. You need to have the weapon in your hand to be fighting, right? So, got this little drill. It requires very little materials to actually do it, and it's pretty straightforward to do. So what you do, get a 12-inch dowel, drill a hole in it all the way through. It's taking a minute. Old driblets are great. Got a hole all the way through that thing. Next, gonna do, we're gonna take a piece of rope, about 12 foot long-ish. This is I like to call a wrist rollie. So I take it through there, and I just tie a knot. Make it a good knot. You don't want it falling out. But what this does is actually builds up your strength in your hands and your wrists, and it gives you a better base to work off of holding the weapon. Because sudden jars and everything else to your hands really messes with you. And like you're constricted. Like the straps on your arms and everything else like that. That's really, it messes with your hand muscles a little bit. Little nerves in there. So, got a knot tied there. Next thing you do, I usually use about 5 pounds. I've got 2.5 weights. You find these, they're simple and easy. You can find them online or anything else like that. What I do, since I got these little holes in the top of them, I tie a knot through there. Make sure it's a good knot. 5 pounds falling ain't no fun. Now, basically, the process and how you use this piece of equipment, easiest thing, go ahead and do, got your weight. you got your rod. Throw it off of something. Make sure that you're not going to hit the ground. And then you roll it. And you roll it. And you roll it. What this does is builds up the hand strength, builds up your wrist strength, and everything else like that. And you keep rolling until you get to the weight, which we're probably going to catch on something down there because I'm using my workbench. So it just keeps rolling and rolling. See how much rope I got there? You can probably use like 10 foot or so. So that's something, you pulling a weight up, let it down. Do it again. Then do it again, and then do it again. I also use tennis balls. I take tennis balls and I put them on my fingers and I crush them like this. It's an old stand-up bass thing. I used to play stand-up bass back in the day. I crush them. Gives me good finger strength. Gives you good hand strength. Build up through all of that. Now, when you're doing these things, it's a lot of muscles you probably don't use every day. Next thing you do, for stretching before and afterwards, take your hand. Put pressure on the thumb, and you just turn it over like that. That stresses all these muscles up in here, all those little tendons and everything like that control your hand movement, and actually stretches it out really nice. Don't do it hard. Do it at your own speed. Don't hurt yourself. That's how you pull muscles and all kinds of junk. You can go the other way. You take your thumb like that, and you basically pull it the other way. Same stuff. Always stretch before you go and work out. Stretch before you go to bed at night. Stretch when you wake up in the morning. Probably the best suggestion I can ever make to anybody. Stretching is life. So, got that out. Wrist rollies. Really strong. Build up your wrist strength. Build up your hand strength. Be able to hold on to a weapon a lot easier. Running ladders. Basically, you take little cones or whatever or something like that on the ground and you like just hot foot over it. You keep moving over it, moving around, keeps your agility up. You're already going to be putting a whole bunch of armor on top of you. So you're going to be really off balance anyways. Walk curbs. Like walk narrow pieces and just work on your balance. Find that center of balance that you need to maintain. I do that every moment I can because I'm a giant human being that falls over a lot. So that's some simple little workout stuff that I've got. Now, I've got a list. Quite literally, a list of companies and people and armorers that make all kinds of gear. All of these people have had gear come across by other steel fighters and they've given it the pretty good okay. Don't trust everyone on the internet. No shit. You want to make sure that everybody's kind of valid and vetted in the sport. People will sell you anything, try and make a buck off you, and there's a lot of people who have wasted a lot of money on some real crap, and we've then destroyed it in front of them. It's been really rough. So for Gambeson's soft kit, most people who sell armor also have an outlet for soft kit. They also have an outlet for Gambesons and everything else like that, so you can usually do it in a one-stop shop. The first company that I have on my list is called Quilted Armor. Quilted Armor makes amazing Gambesons. They're in Ukraine. Takes a while. I mean, they might be Serbia or something like that. I can't really remember. But it takes a little while to get stuff, and they're a bit expensive. But it will be a very custom fit, very well-made Gambeson, very well-made soft kit that looks dope. I mean, you can get all kinds of prints on them and everything else like that. They're crazy awesome. I can't argue with them all. Nadler Metalworks. Nadler Metalworks is based here in the States. He goes and he buys armor overseas, brings it back, and he sells it to us. He has been a forerunner. Nadler has done all the research. He's done lots of tests. He only brings back quality stuff, and I can't argue with him at all. I've worn things that he's brought back or made, anything else like that. It's all been great. Can't argue with that at all. Iron Crab Metalworks, based out of Frederick. It's where Baltimore Huns train. Getting through, building a couple of kits. Pretty good stuff. Can't argue with it. Good temper, good hardening, and it's all really safe. Beachman Armory. He's out of Central America or Mexico. I can't exactly. I think it's Mexico. Beachman makes great stuff. He makes helmets. He makes armor. A whole kit and caboodle. Let's keep going down the list. Ice Falcon Armory. If you'd like to get armor fast and money is not an issue with you, he works in stainless steel. 301 stainless. It's all work hardened stuff. It's really it holds up. It takes hits. just double check what you're buying and make sure that everything's on the up and up. He has armor on the shelf ready to rock for you, his helmets, everything else like that. Just double check. Make sure that everything fits before you start throwing money out. Andre Galveski, he makes good stuff. He's always made good stuff. All these guys are on Facebook and everything else like that, and we've dealt with most of these people. Artist Steel is one that I'm not exactly familiar with. I've held a couple of chess kits. They're pretty decent. Double check everything. Go through your local leaders. Double check and find your local leaders. That's the main people that will help you go through this process. Armor's difficult. Armor's expensive. It's that way almost for a reason, because there's a lot of people that come into this sport. They're like, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. I really want to do this. They look at the price tag and they're like, oh, I don't really want to do this. This isn't really something that I really want to do. People also try to come in and go, how little can I spend on armor and still fight? And that's a real question, because what you pay for is what you get. I've built a fair degree of my stuff, but I also had a large base of people that would help me and assist me, and I had a kiln to use. So that made my hardening and tempering a lot easier on me, otherwise trying to find somebody else. By the way, if anybody watches this and they're the human that I'm talking about, please don't get mad at me for butchering your last name. A lot of Ukrainians and Russians on here. Difficult. Let's go with Oleski Perenebebeneos. Perebeynos. Don't know how to get through that one, but he does make good stuff. I've worn it. I've been hit with it. Not the worst thing. Age of Craft. Age of Craft makes good things that are munitions grade. Now, when I say munitions grade is almost like the lowest quality, not lowest quality, I mean lowest finished quality, but still usable and still good. Age of Craft makes good stuff. They make a couple of good things. I'd always double check with a local leader, or just find pictures of the stuff, things that you're interested in, what you're looking at, like armor points and everything like that, and show it to your local leader. Your local leader's going to know more. They're going to have a better idea, and they'll be able to help you through this process. People keep asking me, like, man, it's so hard to get into this sport. I have no idea where to find anything. I'm like, are you asking people questions? Because if you're not asking people questions, you're not getting a whole lot of information. It's a niche sport. It is, but at the same time, we have a lot of information. The veterans and the local leaders, we all have information that can give you and point you in a better direction. So ask questions. It's not a bad thing. Questions are good. So let's go with Medieval Extreme. Medieval Extreme has made some very good things. I do like their armor. I'd always check with European armorers what steel they're using. If they say it's 30 HSG, which is correct, that's 4130 chromoly steel, basically. That's their codifying of it. So body armor and everything else like that, you have to check through the rules. Most of the organizations all have rules along the same lines for millimeters and such like that. I'll look that up when I go through a little bit more in depth, when I pull out a whole suit of armor and yank at it and stuff. I'll probably do that in the next week or two. I've got a real fire under my ass about this. So let's see. Master Uli. He's called Master Uli for a reason. He makes some beautiful things. He makes some good stuff. Uli is spelled Uley. Master. Bohurt Tech, Bohurt, because I can't spell. Bohurt Tech. They supply a lot of teams overseas. They make a fairly regular product. Haven't really seen a whole lot of problems. You have to watch, every product is a little bit different, just because how they harden and how they temper. If they have a bad temper, the plate turns into nothing. It crumples. Here, I'll get you an example. Look, there's a knee brace. This is old and rusted, but it's supposedly made out of hardened steel. Spring steel springs back, doesn't it? Springs back. I shouldn't be able to do that with a kneecap. It's no good. I don't really... Yeah, just keep bending stuff. No good. No good at all. Happens. Bad tempers happen. But you don't want it to happen to you while you're out there fighting. So what else I got on the list? Red Snake Armory. Red Snake Armory is making some decent things. They've got a good value kit out there. So does Iron Crab Metalworks. Beijman, I don't know what his value kit is really at. Value kits are good starter kits. They're going to have gaps. They're going to need extra pieces added onto them. Anybody out there fighting without a gorget or without neck protection, what's wrong with you? They're like, oh, I bought this whole suit from this guy and it didn't come with this. Probably don't need it, right? I'm like, guy, put on something and protect your neck. That's what you need, protect your neck. And then we have Kyle Harris. Kyle Harris is pumping out some good things. He's been showing some good prospect. And you know what? It all comes down to what you want, what kind of style you want. You can go through and look at all kinds of things. Your helmet's pretty much dictating kind of what you're wearing. That and your elbow cops. Elbows and knees are probably the two most discerning things, other than your helmet, that tells you what time period, what area you're in. A fair degree of these people work in Western European armors. Eastern European kits aren't bad. But the small plates do hinder you when you start taking big axe blows. You feel them. You're informed. People keep talking about weapons and such. Their weapons are a dime a dozen out there. Everybody seems to have an axe head or some kind of mace head. Swords, falchions are a little bit different. Bohurt Tech's had a couple of good ones. Medieval Extreme as well. Always double check your weapon requirements for whatever organization you're fighting in. Let it be Armored Combat Worldwide, Armored Combat Sports, HMB USA, anything else like that. You have to just double check your requirements and make sure that everything kind of fits spec. When you get things in the mail from overseas and it's weapons, sometimes you got to grind down points. Sometimes you have to change around something or bend something around. It's all within reason. That all can be figured out. Oh, we have tools over here in the States just as well, don't we? Let's see here. Realistically, all of it kind of comes down to your preference. It comes down to who's really giving you information, and you need to double check with your local leaders. Point you in a direction. Go and check them out on Facebook. Check out Armored Combat Sports, Armored Combat Worldwide, HMB USA. They will all point you in a direction towards a local chapter to your location. I know that the United States is a little spread out. We're a little whoa out there, but there's usually somebody within an hour or two of you that you can point a whole lot of questions at, and they'll be able to give you a lot of information. In the next week or so, I'll be putting out a couple more things. I'll probably have a full suit of armor in front of me. That'll be all a Western style kit. I'll probably find an all Eastern style kit. Put it in front of you. Show you different things to look out for. Different kinds of gaps, different kinds of angles, how you armor, that kind of thing. Past that, let's see. I've got t-shirts coming out, working on t-shirts. Those will be interesting if anybody's an old school Conan Pulp Mag fan. But working on a few other things, a couple things coming down the pipeline. So thanks for checking this out. Got questions, got concerns, whatever you want, throw them at me in the comments. Thanks everybody for hitting me up, watching Night Fight. Night Fight was dope. I enjoyed that it came out on YouTube, and so many people are seeing the sport now. Remember, stay hungry. Get some.